Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles. Monday Night Football, the overtime battle between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Denver Broncos. Chargers take it in a bizarre overtime with no first downs. The muffed punt ends up being the deciding factor. I will say, the meme right now is this was a horrible game. You know, just like the Commanders, Bears last Thursday and the Broncos, Colts the Thursday before it. I didn't find this one to be as egregiously bad. You know, there was some good defense played, not just good defense by default, like they were trying to praise the Colts and Broncos for in Week 5. There was some good defense from the Broncos and the Chargers in this game. And, I liked Raiders-Chiefs last week, so primetime hasn't been all that bad. It's been okay. Kind of missed being in the AFC West, though, watching the Chiefs-Raiders last week, Chargers-Broncos this week, but, whatever. I thought that we were going to be here talking about the Russell Wilson shut-up game, because he started 10 for 10, 116 yards, got that touchdown, and then just dropped off enough of a cliff that doesn't matter anymore. that start doesn't matter. It's incredible. This is the worst football of Russell Wilson's career. That's undoubtable. Maybe excepting when he came back with the mallet finger last year and tried to play those 3 games. But I'm not. So I just say that because I'm not trying to make excuses for Russell Wilson. Not making excuses for the skill players either. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Melvin Gordon got benched. I did say on the Broncos preview, are we sure these skill position players are good? Because we just keep saying that they'll be good later if they have a good quarterback, right? I mean, I don't know, but I say all that to say Nathaniel Hackett is God. He might be the honest problem here, like the real problem. It takes a village. I'm sure there's pieces from everybody, but Nathaniel Hackett is an idiot. Some people can't do it, and he can't do it, man. 4 primetime games in 6 weeks. I mean, we see it. Meanwhile, the Chargers also couldn't move the ball. Their offense is terrible. Justin Herbert, like Phillip Rivers before him, is working through devastation, injuries across offensive line and in the wide receiver core, and an offensive coordinator who just takes nominal deep shots and just loves the short passing game more than anything in the whole world. It's frustrating. At least the Chargers had fans today. I got to give them props because I've been very hard on them for having no fans at all, but folks showed up to cheer on the Sharp Bananas today. I saw some Seau jerseys. When they did that safety blitz that sacked Russell Wilson, right before the end of regulation there, the safety's taking off his helmet, the crowd's cheering. I've never seen that out of the LA Chargers since they moved to LA in 2017. Pretty credible. So bizarre overtime, no first downs, 3 and outs, muffed punt, ends with the Chargers victory. And maybe the Chargers can bounce back here. We shall see. Mukilteo Football Show. This show is football everything. Football history, legacy, ups and downs of the season. Follow us at MUK_football on Twitter or YouTube. Subscribe, share, review on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you get your podcasts. We've got shows Monday after Monday Night Football, Thursday after Thursday Night Football, and Sunday after Sunday Night Football. And now that Week 6 is in the books, we're going to talk some winners and losers, and we bring in again my brother Kirk.
How's everybody doing out there? I'm going to assume you said good. Cannot hear you. but I'm sending you some love.
Reminder to check out the Sunday show. I reviewed the Bills Chiefs there, gave out some awards, the Hot Stuff Coming Through award, the Manager Karma award that I've been giving to the Bills. I'll tell you, my theory about the Bills is stop winning the regular season big games.
Yeah.
Stop doing it. Because I went back into history. During the 90s, during the 4 years that the Bills lost the Super Bowl, they were 13-2 against the NFC.
Whoa.
Yeah, you think about the Bills like overmatched by the NFC. Stop. And those 2 games were Week 17 games.
Oh, crap.
Stop winning the regular season. Manage your karma, Bills.
They'll never learn. They'll never learn.
But I left off the two biggest subjects here to talk with you here today, Kirk.
Yeah.
The first one for the winner section is the New York hotness.
Oh, my
Jets
goodness.
and Giants doing well. And then for losers, we got to talk Brady and Rodgers and how worried we should be about the Buccaneers and the Packers.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's go ahead.
They should be worried. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Let's start with the New York teams. We have to choose one, but let's talk through it. Which New York team should we believe in more? Whose hype should we be buying? 5-1 Giants or the 4-2 Jets? And let's start with the Giants here.
Yeah. Yeah, they're 5-1, but I still don't believe. I still don't believe in this. I mean, Daniel Jones doesn't look good to me. Well, he seems to be getting a lot of hype.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like a lot of lucky third downs. Their third down percentage has got to be good.
I will say their third down percentage is good. They make the plays when they have to.
Yeah.
But the Giants offense was by far the worst unit out there in the game against the Ravens on Sunday. The Giants offense really didn't do anything. Daniel Jones is getting the hype more because he's the quarterback of a 5-1 team that plays in New York City than his actual play. Saquon Barkley, didn't have a great game.
No, not really. They focused on him.
He did the Walter Payton leap touchdown. I thought that was fun.
That was a good one.
But the Giants offense didn't really win this game at all. It was really a defensive battle.
Yeah. And I think that's the part of the Giants that nobody's really talking about is the defense. And I don't really know a star, like the star of the defense.
Yeah. That's what makes it hard.
Yeah, and I'm finding it really hard to believe in them. I'm loving their coach. He seems to know how to manage a game.
Daboll,
yeah, he's almost doing it like old Pete Carroll style, where he's just going to play these low, ugly games and just manage third downs and hopefully we pull it out at the end. And so far, so good. But this could absolutely go the other way. I can see them going 1-5 down for a stretch and bring this back to 500.
I mean, the Titans, if they just miss or make a makeable field goal in week 1, they're 4-2.
Yeah.
And I guess you kind of hit a Pete Carroll thread there that I really like. What the Giants did to both the Packers last week and the Ravens this week is keep it a game and then just kind of roll their dice to see what exactly would happen at the end.
Yeah.
Now, you'd think Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson would pull those games out, but Rodgers gave up.
Oh, yeah.
And Lamar Jackson lost the game for them.
Really?
That pick. What the heck was that?
What are you doing? Don't improvise that. You're playing against the Giants. Just play sound fundamental football, and you'll win. You'll win that game.
Yeah, and then he throws that pick. The Giants' offense, which is like the afterthought, they get in that touchdown, and then Lamar Jackson gets the ball back again. You're thinking, okay, now he'll drive for the score, and the Ravens will win, and he gets the ball knocked out by Kayvon Thibodeau in a play that I honestly think, if Thibodeau doesn't hit the ball directly, Lamar Jackson was cutting back through the pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And there was going to be some damage there.
Yeah.
So the Giants, it's
he was
just
about to break one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just another little lucky thing. I'm happy for Kayvon Thibodeau, 5th overall pick this year, that he got a big play.
Yeah.
But Lamar Jackson kind of blew it rather than the Giants winning.
I know, but that's been the story of the Giants. That's why they're 5-1. It's not like they've done anything fantastic. It's just that they're having other teams make mistakes and they're capitalizing on them.
Yes.
And that game of momentum, they are playing that, but it's not a recipe for long-term success.
Yeah. So I'm hearing not a contender, basically.
Yeah, but they're clear. They got 5 wins, so they are, to me, going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I feel like
seven teams make it now.
I feel like I can say it now. They can go 500 from here on out, and they're in the playoffs. And that's, but they still don't look like a team that's going to actually make a run to the Super Bowl. And I'm waiting for that Daniel Jones, just like, oh, that's Daniel Jones. Like, I'm waiting for that game where it's just like, okay, yep, that's who we're actually playing at quarterback.
Man, I totally agree. The Pete Carroll thing is perfect. The Giants now have the ability to keep teams in games. They didn't have that ability before.
Yeah.
And the bounces have just gone their way. People are saying Giants are 5-1. They're they're good, therefore they're good. But you can't just say that. You can't just say the Giants are 5-1 as the reason they're good.
Yeah.
You have to say, like, what's the other reason? Because the Cardinals were 7-0 last year. I mean, they weren't, but they didn't turn out to be good.
This is what always happens in the beginning of the season is you start looking at records. And you're like, oh, the 3-0 Dolphins, they're clearly the best team in the NFL right now because they're undefeated. And now they're 3-3.
Yep.
It changes so quickly in football week to week. Just kind of, once the Giants lose a game, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
How do they respond to that?
Yeah.
And, they're going to eventually have that loss, that 2-game losing streak. And then I'm going to see if Dable's actually got it or not.
In a New York themed conversation, it's appropriate to bring up Bill Parcells here, coach of the Giants and the Jets. He always said, you are what your record says you are. Yeah. But I always say, until you're not.
Until it's the postseason, you're 0-0. It don't matter.
I did say, in my Giants preview, I called the Giants on an over of 7 wins, feeling great about that now. Yeah. And I said coaching was going to be the reason. And I think you touched on that too. So it sounds like we're pretty much in agreement. Giants, they are coached better. They've creeped it back up to average, but this is just pure luck.
It is luck. And I'm waiting. They're going to have a really bad game here.
Okay.
Somebody's going to get out to a hot start on them, and I'm going to see them down 14, 17 points early on, like first half, and they're looking at that scoreboard. Can they really come back from a score like that? Can they actually make a comeback? Because everything's been very... It's basically 0-0 or 3-0 kind of that kind of range.
I'm really glad you brought that up because people are calling this a comeback. This game against the Ravens, and it wasn't.
No,
it was a defensive slugfest until the end.
Exactly.
All right, let's go over to the Jets. Let's see if we're any more positive about them. The 4-2 Jets go into Green Bay, thump the Packers.
No kidding.
This wasn't like a fluke win, at least in my opinion. They absolutely thumped the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field,
27-10. In Lambeau. If that game was in New York, I can understand it. But it's in Lambeau Field. I've never seen the Jets play that well against an NFC opponent for years. They did get a little lucky. Let's be honest. The game had a lot of blocked kicks, field goals, punts.
They got one block too.
Yeah, both sides. But it was kind of a funky game like that. But the thing that I'm so surprised about with the Jets, it's their defense.
Yeah.
Their defense, they got a ton of talent, and their defensive line is getting pressure, and it's making life easy for their new corners on the sides. I mean, just like the defense is the reason the Jets are actually having a chance, because it certainly wasn't Zach Wilson yesterday.
No.
Well, I mean,
it didn't even matter as Zach Wilson. My take is this. The Jets are now the East Coast 49ers. Okay. Zach Wilson is Jimmy Garoppolo, and Robert Saleh is doing to the Jets defensive line what he did with the 49ers defensive line.
Yeah.
Quinnen Williams is all of a sudden an all-pro.
No kidding.
Like, Sauce Gardner on the edge is like got all this swagger. I think he was, a 3rd or 4th overall pick? I forget. He was drafted really early, though.
Yeah, I forget what the pick was.
And he's just making plays all over the place, and suddenly the Jets are running around just like the Kyle Shanahan 49ers, which makes sense. That's where Saleh comes from. That's where Mike LaFleur comes from.
Yeah, and I love it. I love the defense. I think that can keep them around. Like, they can actually make a playoff push from that. But and they run the ball well. I mean, Breece Hall looks good to me. He looked good last game, and Michael Carter's a good little compliment to that.
Both those touchdowns were cool plays.
Yeah,
the Breece Hall one, by the way, props to you. You called Breece Hall. You're the most pro Breece Hall person I've ever met.
Really?
You're bathing in it right now.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, he's putting up the stats. He's doing his job.
The play that he scored on, kind of the dagger, was a fake toss, fake reverse, where Breece Hall lined up in the slot and then got a slot counter. Yeah. So he was coming across the line of scrimmage there.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? That's 49ers football. That's Kyle Shanahan football.
I love it. Just ton of misdirection, and they have just a bunch of weapons. I mean, Elijah Moore hasn't even got started yet. Don't forget that he's there.
And Garrett Wilson is one of my faves.
Corey Davis can go deep. I mean, they got a ton of options on the receiving end. The running backs, they got 2, Michael Carter and Breece Hall. Zach Wilson's the problem.
Exactly. Zach Wilson's the problem.
But with a good defense, you can make up for that, just like the Giants are doing.
Yeah.
So,
And do we know that Zach Wilson is bad? Are we sure yet?
I'm pretty sure. I'm leaning 80% he's not going to be a good quarterback for a longevity of a career.
I am too. I've been a Zach Wilson hater from the beginning. The only season he played well was the 2020 COVID season, which in my opinion wasn't even a season.
No.
That college football, it was a complete joke.
Yeah.
So that worries me.
Yeah. I don't believe in him, but I think he can manage a game well enough. What worries me is if the defense gets a few injuries and you know, and then all of a sudden they have to start throwing the ball a lot more than they've had to. I mean, I think he only had like 14 attempts that game, or like he was like 10 for like 18 or something like that. I mean,
there's really Aaron Rodgers on the other side who should have just won the game because they had plenty of opportunities.
Just run the friggin' ball. I don't know what they're doing. They got Aaron Jones and
AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon just pound the rock. Use up some time, but I don't know what the Packers were doing. They got their butts kicked at home.
The Packers are soft, man. They're soft.
Yeah.
This is what, again, bringing up the 49ers, what the 49ers did to them last year. You get a good line, even though the Packers look good on paper, they just get beat to hell by these good lines. And I guess the Jets are good.
Yeah, their defense looks great, and the Jets,
they got swagger too, man.
They are a very momentum-heavy team.
Yeah.
Saleh, I think, is very like, yes, we're awesome, we're great, and when they're bad, he's just like, we're the worst team ever, and he just makes you feel bad, and you start playing bad. So, like, when I can see the Jets losing a game or two, and that really derails their season, but for right now, I kind of like what I see.
Saleh's calling them the baby Jets.
The baby Jets.
Baby Jets. I like that.
Okay.
So much young talent, as you said. Okay, so based on the tenor of our conversation, I think we both had the same answer, but what New York team should we believe in more? Sounds like we're both saying the Jets.
I'm saying the Jets. You know, the talent-wise, especially on the offense and defensive side of the ball, I see more talent.
Yeah.
You know, coaching, I'm going to kind of chalk it up to a 50-50 here. I mean, maybe Dayball's got the lead a little bit just because he's got so much more pressure on him.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, though, to bring up that the coaching has been impressive so far, but it's also part of the hype.
Yeah.
Because there's long-term ramifications that we're feeling right now. We're feeling in this 5-1, the 4-2 that the New York teams are kind of set up.
Yeah. They're doing well. I like the Jets more, but I'm interested to see what happens when these teams lose 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
What happens? How does the coach respond? How do the players respond? Are they actually buying into the fact that they're playoff teams or that they're just kind of going to have a good first half of the season and it won't sustain throughout?
Because we did have moments like this with Joe Judge for the Giants coach. They're saying, oh, he's changed the culture. And we had moments like this with Todd Bowles for the Jets. And, oh, he's changed the culture. So we'll see.
We will see. Yeah, but Jets got the better chance. All right. Just the young talent.
Let's get negative.
Yes.
We're much better at that. That was enough praise of the New York Jets.
I know, kidding.
And begrudging praise of the New York Giants.
For the record, I want both of them to miss the playoffs. Let's just get that out of the way. I don't like New York teams. It doesn't matter which sport it is. I'm not a New York fan. So
the losers section. Two of these quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, who should be worried about more? And it's not just, I got a little preamble here. It's not just that their teams have bumped down to 3-3, that they were upset. It's also the ways that the upsets happen. Rodgers lost to the Jets there. Brady lost to the Steelers. Upsets are really only explained by their lack of production.
Yeah.
Like they just couldn't score in the red zone. They couldn't get the passing offenses going. And it's contrasted with Mahomes and Allen game of the year.
Oh,
you know, it's like the pivot is finally coming. Mahomes and Allen are getting the headlines on CBS. Rodgers and Brady are losing in the 10 a.m. slot on Red Zone.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's been coming, but it hasn't been here. I mean, 2020, Rodgers wins the MVP, Brady wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah. 2021,
they're both 1-2 in MVP voting. This hasn't happened yet. Has it happened now? Are we finally seeing these guys go down?
We're seeing it. We are absolutely seeing it. Brady doesn't look like he's even interested. To me, like him missing a Friday practice, waltzing on a Saturday, that's troublesome to me.
Yeah.
He's not getting the reps in with his team. He already wanted to retire. Like, I'm not sure how invested he is into winning, and that's all Brady is. And Brady is all about like competition. Yeah. We're going to get it. And he just doesn't seem like he's got that drive this year. But saying all of this Brady hate scares the crap out of me. The second you start doubting Tom Brady, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. I hate that.
But this does betray something of Brady's that we've never really thought about. One of the great things about Tom Brady is he comes in and he truly walks the walk, and he learns everybody's names.
Oh, yeah.
The equipment managers, he puts like a sense of greatness into everybody. Spends all day doing it.
Yeah.
And is he doing that right now?
I don't think he is.
Did he just unretire to get back at Adam Schefter for breaking the news? I mean, it feels it's possible.
I kind of think that
non-zero chance.
My conspiracy theory is kind of that, and also that he didn't want to share his Hall of Fame with Ben Roethlisberger. So he just went one more year, and he's like, okay, Ben gets his year, and then I get mine after that. Just like I don't know what it is, but he just doesn't look sharp. His throws are off. They're low. I mean, these are things that Tom Brady does so friggin' well throughout his career. Is he's accurate. He puts the ball where his receiver can get it. I have not seen Brady throw this many balls into the dirt. 2 yards in front of the receiver. Like the receiver's diving out for it, but it's still short.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that.
Yeah.
I do think his arm still looks good, though. I mean, we're not. Yeah. I personally am not thinking this is 2015 Peyton or 2020 Big Ben.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not that awful,
Yeah.
but it is shorter. There's something that is off, and I just think defenses getting pressure up the middle is starting to really affect Brady's game because he's just a stand in the pocket guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been that way. Now that they're actually making him move a little bit, I'm worried. He's 45 years old, folks.
Yeah, it's true.
That's old.
Very old. That's Nolan Ryan territory.
Yeah.
Like Matt Ryan is washed up, and he's 38, by the way, people.
Yeah, right.
That's
Exactly.
what we're thinking. I agree. The offensive line is having troubles. That inside pressure is just crushing them and making the decisions earlier. He doesn't have a James White, that he usually – they're trying to use Fournette and Rashad White like that.
Yeah.
But the thing you forget is that the Buccaneers really gave him an elite offensive line
when he
in 2020.
started. Yeah.
All of a sudden, one of the best offensive lines truly that I think we've seen in couple decades was that 2020 Buccaneers offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good.
It was good, and it's not that way anymore. Yeah. The center's a new guy. I think it's a rookie, right? I mean, and they're overusing Fournette.
Yeah.
They need to find that 1-2. Who's the second guy? Who's the James White?
McCaffrey? Trade for McCaffrey.
Right. They probably will. They probably will.
I would love to see that.
Although that'd be blasphemy. You don't trade in the division like that.
Oh, yeah.
You don't do that. But, Carolina's Carolina, so maybe they haven't got the message.
Wait, Tampa Bay's in our division?
Oh, crap.
It's a new owner.
That was a mistake.
I do think, and I'll defend Brady a little bit here, I think Brady wins that game because they started off, they're lighting first downs on fire by running it with Leonard Fournette for no gain.
Yeah.
They've been doing that all 3 years that Brady's been there. It's not new, but I don't know why. But they just have to do it, apparently. But Brady, they turn the reins back over to Brady. He drives them, gets them a touchdown. They fail the 2-point conversion, but they're within 2, and there's 4 minutes, 30 seconds left or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Mitchell Trubisky converts 3 third downs in a row. I think it's reasonable to say that that's not always going to happen.
No.
And Brady was going to get the ball back and probably win that game.
Yeah. I mean, they were only down 2, so they could have got the field goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was only Trubisky to Claypool on 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 15 stopped Brady from basically winning the game later.
Yeah. It just looks ugly.
It does. And it has looked ugly.
I mean, it's the Steelers. You can't be losing to the Steelers right now. I mean,
and there was nobody. Okay, it wasn't even the Steelers defense that you talked about. Minka Fitzpatrick wasn't there.
Wasn't even there. No
TJ Watt's not there.
TJ Watt.
Their corners are both gone.
Yeah. Like that, they should have slaughtered that team, And I want to give Mike Tomlin some credit there because Mike Tomlin's an awesome coach. But I don't know. I mean, to me, it's just Brady's not practicing enough.
Yeah,
he's not invested, and maybe he's just waiting for halfway through the season and he'll put it on. I give him the biggest benefit of the doubt because he's the GOAT.
Yeah,
and he could probably get this thing back. He'll probably still make the playoffs because the NFC South sucks. So, I mean, he's still not going anywhere, but I am definitely concerned, and I do think this is his last year.
I think so, too. And even in his wildest predictions, he's always said 45.
Yeah.
Even when we all rolled his eyes by him saying it was always 45.
I know.
But I watched the game looking for arm, failings, and I didn't see it. So, therefore, I have hope. I think Brady's going to turn it around.
Yeah. I see some balls in the dirt, but I think that's because he's having to move.
Yeah. Well,
I think when he has to step up in the pocket and do a kind of a, he's running forward, that kind of pass.
And the lack of reps. I mean, it's not just him who's been missing practice. What is Godwin ever on the practice field? Julio Jones
hasn't practiced in a decade. He's had a hamstring problem. He's been limited practice for a decade.
Exactly. And Mike Evans is getting suspended. So, I mean,
so, they got to get it together. And, it's going to start eventually falling onto Todd Bowles, because if you're losing with this much talent, you got to start blaming the coach at some point.
Yeah. Well, stop running in on first down for no gain. All right. Let's go to Aaron Rodgers, who lost the aforementioned Jets game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying, Rodgers receivers, right? That's what they're blaming. Yeah. I want to take that off the board. I don't think that Rodgers' receivers are that bad. Allen Lazard, Romeo Doubs is getting open deep.
Yeah.
That's the hard thing. So he's got Robert Tonyan, he's got Aaron Jones. Randall Cobb, before he got hurt, was looking spry.
Yeah.
Sammy Watkins will be back. I mean, this isn't the worst ever.
Yeah. There's teams with worse receiving cores. I mean, ask the New York Giants.
Exactly. If they're 5-1, they're not complaining.
Yeah, but there's just something about the way Rodgers handles the situation. It just makes I don't think their receivers are happy.
I don't think anyone's happy dealing with Aaron Rodgers.
They don't really want to play for him. I mean, I don't know. It just looks like there's something like he is his own man right now. And I can see this absolutely being, I think I can see him continuing to play, going to a new team. But I think as far as a Packer, this is probably it.
Worn out his welcome. Man, after just signing that extension too.
He got 2 straight MVPs. I mean, and then now he's just like, he doesn't have Devontae Adams, and you're starting to see his reliance on who he thinks is good.
Yeah.
That's who he's going to give the ball to.
We know he's an opinionated man who's smarter than everyone, including doctors and everyone in the whole world, about everything that they do. But I do think, like, I listen to Aaron Rodgers is not a guy I want to work with or talk to. He's actively contradicting Matt LaFleur in the most passive-aggressive bitch ways that he possibly can. Like, LaFleur is saying, we can't let this loss bleed into the thing. And Aaron Rodgers comes around, we can't even talk about that. We can't manifest that by even saying it. It's like, are you talking about Matt LaFleur? No, I'm not talking about anything specific. Okay, well, just man up and say that you were.
No kidding.
Okay,
right?
He's talking about simplify the offense. What are you talking about? Okay, Aaron Rodgers, you're back-to-back MVP, 4th year in an offense. When has any back-to-back MVP in the 4th year with the same offensive coordinator said we need to simplify?
No kidding.
What are we doing?
I don't get what he's doing. And
he's needling them.
He is.
He's an asshole.
And that stuff makes it into the locker room.
Yeah.
The locker room knows. That especially defensive players. You called them soft earlier. I think that they're soft because they don't want to win for this guy.
Yeah.
And they've been disappointed the last 2 years. They were the 1 seed. Twice in a row. And, they made it to a championship game, lost because they kicked a field goal when they were down 8 on the 8-yard line. That was stupid. And then they got upset by the Niners last year. So
those losses were very similar to this loss, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, the Packers start off hot, get a touchdown, and then Aaron Rodgers stops playing.
That's what I don't get. Usually he used to be a killer. I think he would just go after their throat. Gets up 14 and he's like, let's make it 28.
Yeah.
Like, that used to be Aaron Rodgers. Now he's just like, I did my job, you do yours.
Yeah.
Like, and he's just got this bitch thing about him. I'm just
it's funny. I was talking to somebody on the internet on Sunday, and so it's true.
Yeah.
And I was saying, it was a Packers fan, and I posted, like, I feel like Aaron Rodgers sometimes throws the ball where the play wanted the ball to be exactly. To show the receiver how stupid he is.
Yeah.
You stupid son of a...
This is where it should have been. But you can't do that in a game.
Yeah, football is chaos.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What's he just like hoping to come back into the film room and be like, I told you.
Yeah.
If you were there, you would have got the ball and scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
And just like, no, just like...
And this Packers fan fully agreed with me. He was
Really?
like, that happens, man. That's why he throws it away. He says, your stupid play didn't work. I told you it wouldn't work, and therefore it didn't work. I threw it away because nobody was open.
Yeah.
There's something wrong. So basically what we're saying is we don't like Aaron Rodgers, and we don't think he's getting along with his team.
Yeah, I do think he's still got the arm strength. He's still got the mobility. Like, he can still be a player, but his time in Green Bay has come to an end. Yeah. This is it. We're watching Green Bay. They're passing the torch off to the Vikings this year for the division champs. And
hold on to your butts, everybody. That's going to be a wild ride.
I don't see Green Bay getting this together. The locker room has to be strong for you to get this stuff on the right track.
They should be so much better than this.
They have so much talent. I don't care if Devontae Adams is gone. Yeah. You still have Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, and it's just an absolute shame how Aaron Jones has been used throughout his career. Give the man the ball. He's an elite running back, and they don't use him. They haven't used him for 5-6 years now.
Damn.
It drives me crazy.
The more we talk about both these guys, I can see a scenario where this completely turns around for both. So I think the answer for me is both can possibly turn around. I know we're just super negative about Aaron Rodgers, but a couple wins and suddenly that elite roster isn't dealing with the roadblocks that we're talking about.
Yeah, I could still see both of these teams in the playoffs. I expect them both in the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll be there.
But I don't expect them to they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's going to happen. The way it's looking right now, I'm like, nah.
Even the best Aaron Rodgers teams don't go to the Super Bowl.
Good point.
Not in the last 12 years.
Oh, yeah. He'll lose in the NFC Championship game again, probably.
What is it about him? It's just so weird. It's just so weird. All right, so out of the two teams, which are you most worried about, Buccaneers or Packers?
Packers.
Okay. Me too.
I'm more worried about the Packers because, like I was saying, the locker room.
Yeah.
And you need a strong locker room. Brady's still probably optimistic. He's still like, yeah, we'll fight. And maybe somebody will call him out and be like, dude, you got to go to practice and get this thing figured out.
Yeah.
And he'll listen.
I think so.
I don't know about. Rodgers is he's a man that walks by himself.
It's hard to tell from the outside. I know people are probably listening like, how do you guys know? But the snipping, the passive aggressive snipping, he didn't just do it with Matt LaFleur, he did it with Jair Alexander and a couple other guys. It's weird.
I've listened to enough press conferences to know now when there's a problem.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. All right, final question for the day. We'll be back Thursday to review everybody. The final question is this. Who is the fourth best team in the NFL? Chiefs and Bills, 1, 2, maybe Eagles are 1 if you go purely by record, but Chiefs, Bills, and Eagles are 1, 2, 3 in some order.
Oh, yeah.
Who is number 4 in these power rankings that generally come out tomorrow or Wednesday?
Yeah, and it's such a hard pick.
Put some candidates down to roll through. Vikings, 49ers, Ravens, Giants, Bengals, Cowboys, Bucks, Packers.
See, I'm big on the Vikings.
Okay.
So,
You picked them to win the Super Bowl.
I was. So, I kind of want to pick them, but it's just, they haven't really beaten anybody.
They haven't deserved to win all their games either. We getting on the Giants.
They beat the Dolphins, with Teddy Bridgewater. They beat the Saints on a double doink. Yeah. They beat the Lions and the Bears. Those were still close games.
The Bears by one of the Vikings defenders just literally taking the ball from a bear.
I know, right?
Where they
and then
don't take balls from bears, folks.
But they've only lost to the Eagles. So if you want to do Bill Parcells, you are what your record is. I would say Vikings, but to me, I still want to say the Bengals.
I like the Bengals, but they're not mine. But go ahead.
I don't know why. It's just they haven't done anything where it's proven to me that they're not gonna get it together. They've lost some super close games. They're they've got all the hype which they haven't played through.
Right.
Like last season, they were just underdogs. So now that they got a target on their back, it's a whole different game. And I like the way they've been responding.
Kind of they're adjusting to the target.
Yeah. Okay. Like now teams bring you their best.
Yeah.
Last year it was, we're playing the Bengals. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. And it didn't even look that way until their little stretch down the end.
Yeah.
To me, they look fine. And I like Joe Burrow. He's still confident. He's awesome. I just love Joe Burrow as a person. He's honest up front with these people. He seems sarcastic, having fun.
Good press conferences.
Yeah, he's awesome. I can listen to that guy. He's not Russell Wilson giving you the modest BS.
We really based most of our football analysis on press conferences,
apparently. But I like the Bengals. I think they can right the ship. And that their team seems to still be optimistic despite the 3-3 record. And AFC North is wide open.
Yes, that's a great point.
I mean,
they got a path. The Ravens what are they doing?
They blow every game for some reason, and then, the Browns are obviously going to fade off. The Steelers are never going to catch up. So I like, in the long run, if I wanted to say who's the fourth best team here, I still think it's the Bengals.
Okay. I've got the Cowboys.
Ooh.
I got the Cowboys, and I know they just lost. So in a week where a team loses, you're not allowed to talk about them being good.
Yeah.
But there is something happening. Maybe it's the dilution point of talent. There's just enough talent on the defense to where I think that they've kind of tipped over to a point where they're going to be good all year. Now, and that I say that with the most possible praise, because it is hard to be a defense that is good week to week. It's really, really hard
throughout the season.
Yes. Yeah. I think the Cowboys are there. They showed me something in Philadelphia. That loss was a blowout waiting to happen. The city of Philadelphia, fresh off of scaring the hell out of the Atlanta Braves pitchers, putting the fear of God into them.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't rattle the Cowboys defense. The Cowboys defense buckled down.
Oh, yeah.
And if not for, just one well-placed rush by the Eagles, the Cowboys were going to win that game because they had a wide open CeeDee Lamb on a bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least make it a game. I should have said win.
It was there. I mean,
it was there.
What was it, 20-3 at half or something like that?
23 at half, and they had multiple realistic chances, and that's because that defense clamped down. So now we got 6 games in a row because their loss to the Buccaneers, the defense was very good as well.
Oh, yeah.
Now we have 6 games in a row. You don't see that very much.
Not really.
With defenses.
Yeah.
And there's all these stats like scoring defense and stuff. I don't look at that because it's so dependent on who you play. But there's an easier part of the Cowboys schedule coming.
Oh, yeah. And they're going to get Dak back.
They're going to get Dak back, which is a big deal for me. He brings them up, and I can't believe I didn't mention him yet.
Yeah.
But Micah Parsons is a superstar. Micah Parsons is a Lawrence Taylor type of effect.
Oh, I like that.
And the great thing about Micah Parsons is the Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis effect. There's another good guy on the other side, DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yep.
And they have all these guys who's rotating in. They're like the Bills on the defensive line.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're talking about Cowboys defense. That's when you get Zeke and Pollard going. This is a good team. I got them at 4.
I like that, actually. I can roll with that. I mean, I picked Vikings Cowboys in the championship game.
You did.
So,
and I didn't.
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
I picked the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl, but I will keep. I'm going to keep with that prediction. I'm going to go with the Brady bounces them back. He learns the equipment manager's name later.
Oh yeah. He's just got to get the balls a little less, firm. He's got to learn who does that.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on week 6?
Week 6 was fun. This was a great week of football. I mean, we had a lot of good matchups, and it's just amazing to me how we always, jump onto record so quickly, and now everybody's like 3-3. I love it. Yeah. I love it. There's only one undefeated team left. Everybody's won a game.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I do want to give the Colts a shout out.
Okay.
Colts, man.
Here we go.
Let's go. They came back. They won that game. They needed it. So they split with Jacksonville because they got their butts kicked in week 2.
Yep.
But they came back without Jonathan Taylor.
They shouldn't have won that game. It's amazing they did.
They're 3-2-1, and I like it because they're going to play the Titans, I think, early again here, and so their division is going to be done. Yeah, and I like that for them. I like it. So I'm going to keep pounding that the Colts are going to win this division. Don't worry about it because once Taylor comes back, they're going to start rattling off some wins. That defense is good, man.
The fact that they made it through at 3-2-1,
it's a miracle,
and that's that's the kind of the Bucs and Packers at 3-3 also kind of have this kind of the same thing. We might just look at this as an afterthought later.
Yeah, but it was a good week of football. A lot of upsets. Falcons taking down the Niners. I love that. We're gonna see more of this because the football league has become more a parity. Everybody's kind of even. 500's a good record now. And it's just when how well can you get to halftime if you're down 17-14. Let's just call that being 3-5.
Yeah.
Right, and then you just get that second half of the season. You can go 5-3 and get back to 500 and make the playoffs, especially in the AFC.
Yeah, I love the fact that this is happening. The parody is super fun, especially for people who do podcasts about the NFL, because it leads to stuff that we can talk about every week.
Oh, yeah.
I have a conspiracy theory I'm just formulating right now. This is completely off the cuff of the cuff. In the past, the NFL money was about getting the best possible matchups for their big games. Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, the playoffs, the Super Bowl, getting these giant teams to face each other. The money now is not in that. They don't care about getting these big teams to the matchups. Now it's daily fantasy. It's gambling. And they need everybody to be as equal as possible because they make money by having the lines low, the over and unders unpredictable.
Yeah.
They've gone full gambling.
Full gambling mode. Hey, sports gambling, it is affecting the league a little bit.
It really is.
It might be.
It really, they used to say gambling was like a tarnish on the sport, and they do not believe that now. All right.
No, they are all in.
All right. Thanks for joining me, my brother. And we will see everybody listening on Thursday. Good night.